In the grim darkness of the future, there is only war. Dawn of War 3, that is. So Relic Entertainment were kind enough to invite me out to Vancouver to see what they've been up to, and the answer was, of course, yes, I'd love to go out there and see the new Dawn of War game. I love the original Dawn of War, and I know a lot of you strategy fans out there have a special place in your heart for the Dawn of War series. It's a game, for me, that brought together the arcadey, fast-paced action of games like Red Alert, but it threw considerations like melee and morale into the mix as well. And to top it off, it put the whole thing in the gloriously gorgeous and grimdark universe of Warhammer 40k. Good morning, guys. Right, it's a beautiful day in Vancouver, and I'm about to head over to check out Dawn of War 3. It's like, if you haven't seen it, or if you haven't heard about it yet, if you like Dawn of War 1, then chances are you're going to love Dawn of War 3. If you didn't like Dawn of War 2, chances are you're going to love Dawn of War 3. It's kind of like it takes more of the elements of Dawn of War 1 and puts them into 3. It's more about epic, big-scale battles, but it feels like they really want to get back to basics of 40k, which are epic. Yeah, I can't wait to see what the game actually has in store for me. So let me give you guys the scoop on what Dawn of War 3 is like. I had some questions going into it, but for me, number 2 was a step away from what I wanted from the series and an RTS Warhammer game. I'm all about the big battles, getting as many massive armies onto the screen as possible, and lighting up the entire planet with weapons that make a howitzer look like a spud gun. And luckily enough for me, that is exactly what Dawn of War 3 is. If you're a fan of the huge, kind of epic scale of the battles from number 1, you're going to be pleasantly surprised, because it really is a huge and epic feel that they've got with the game. I got to play through one mission while I was there, and I'll walk you through what happened. Alright, so first up we have this dude. His name's Gabriel Angelos. He's a badass space marine with a massive hammer. Standard. The world, as you can see, looks really, really awesome. It's a frozen ice planet with jagged ice and rock and windy white mists that just flow over a visually haunting surface. One of the things they kind of let us see was a bit of the behind the scenes of how they've made the world and the units, some of the animation and art style decisions, as well as the voice acting. And they really kind of do have a lot of passion for what they put on the screen, and it really does show. So Gabriel has a couple of sweet moves. First up, you jump to a location and slam down your hammer, and it's like a massive kind of crackdown. It's a great tool for jumping over gaps if there's like a dude over a chasm that you need to get to. But it's also just great for closing distance. It's perfect for forcing dudes who are shooting you to stop shooting you and kind of just pick up their kind of fists and start punching you. He's also got a spinny move. I don't remember what they're called, but he just whirls around with his hammer and knocks everybody immediately around him backwards and does a huge amount of damage as well. I mean, this combined with his first ability makes him really, really effective for close-range encounters. So there's 3 races confirmed to be playable at the moment. One of those is Orc, and the other is Eldar. So after I bashed around enough Eldar, which is who you're facing in this mission, there's a situation that threatens to end Gabriel's mission and his life. But hey-ho, no, along comes, holy frickin' balls, what the hell, awesome Solaria. So this is Solaria, and she's insane. She's one of the newer units from the tabletop, an Imperial Knight, which is like a massive, massive robot. Well, not so much a robot. There's some really cool backstory actually behind the Imperial Knights, but the gist of it is that Solaria is just like a noble woman who's been given command of like the most insane mech ever to step foot into a video game. She's like Metal Gear meets Game of Thrones. It's like she's decked out in that kind of like knight heraldry. She looks really fantastic. Anyway, she turns up and holy crap, she is world-endingly good. She's got 2 amazing moves. The first is like a cone attack that sprays Gatling cannons in like kind of like a cone shape, decimates everything in front of you, and it's really, really, really good for mowing down troops. And her second ability is again another great troop-killing tool. It's a rocket pod on her back, and it lets you fire 6 separate rockets. You get to choose where each one goes, but the coolest thing is that if you only want to fire like 2 or 3, you can just do that. And because you've only fired 2 or 3, the cooldown for the move comes back around much, much quicker, and you can use it again quicker. Another feature for Solaria is a heat mechanic. What this means is, as she's kind of doing damage, shooting around the battlefield, mowing down fools, and wrecking the place, her guns heat up, her mech suit heats up, and then she overheats eventually and does increased damage, which is great if the fight's going your way. But the second it stops going your way and you want to pull Solaria back out, you're left with a mech that's overheating, and while she's overheating, she also moves much, much slower, and so pulling her back suddenly becomes really, really tough. There were a few situations where I couldn't get out in time, and I lost her. These guys are both a huge part of what's unique about Dawn of War 3. These are elite units, and they're designed to be a focus point of your forces. They're like the carries from like a MOBA, kind of almost. They're basically the heavy hitters that can swing like a heavy loss into a decisive victory. If you have them on the field and in the right place at the right time, they can really make a fight yours. Luckily enough, though, when they do die, they're not gone forever. They do come back. There's a cooldown, and then you can summon them back again into the fight, pretty much wherever you like, I think. I'm not sure if that applies to the Orc and the Eldar ones, but I haven't seen any of those yet, apart from one Eldar unit that we got to see. So this map in particular, anyway, is the introduction map, apparently, for Solaria. So the whole map really is just a showcase of how amazing she can be. All the encounters that you come up against are tailored perfectly to be handled by her moveset. Although later on in the map, there are some anti-vehicle kind of troops that do give her a lot of trouble. But for the most part, it's a troop-heavy map that really suits her style of play, and you can have a lot of fun just stomping around as her, wrecking the place. So, what else? Well, there's a couple of things. Bases are back. If you enjoyed building a base like in Dawn of War 1, and missed it from Dawn of War 2, and I did, to be honest, I like having a base to defend. I like that part of the game. So you can build a base just like the first one. Also, control points are back. And a control point is basically like, it's like Tiberium or Vespene gas, whatever it is. It's the resource mechanic for the game. And basically you have to control as many of these as you can, defend them so you don't lose them. And then through holding these, you gain the resources that you spend on units in the game. And again, there's a resource that's heavily used for troops, and then there's a resource that's heavily used for later units like vehicles. Both of those come from owning these control points. There's also other cool mechanics brought over from the other games and the tabletop. For example, cover. You can park your dudes behind cover, and that makes them really, really, really hard to assault with ranged weapons. But again, Dawn of War and Warhammer is a melee-heavy world. And so the ideal thing to do when you're faced with troops that are behind cover and hard to assault is send in your jetpack troops, or Gabriel, for example, get their chainswords out, and they'll just go toe-to-toe with these dudes and just wreck them and wreck their cover. There's also an impressive array of vehicles in the game. I mean, if you know Warhammer 40k, then you know exactly what kind of vehicles the Space Marines bring into combat. You've got the Dreadnoughts as standard, amazing, awesome. But also, some of the really cool tanks are there as well, like the Whirlwind, which is probably one of my favorite units that I got to play. It's like a long-range rocket artillery, and when you use command groups correctly, you can coordinate some really, really impressive barrages. It's a really, really fun unit. One thing I love to do was to use my stealth scout troops to kind of look in the fog of war, see where the enemy was, and then lay down from a safe distance like a barrage of fire from my Whirlwinds. The campaign really does seem like it's going to be a lot of fun. But honestly, the one thing I'm really, really looking forward to, like with Dawn of War 1, is going to be the multiplayer. And I'm really, really keen to see where they go with that. I'd love to kind of approach some big-scale games with some of the other guys here at the office. Perhaps even do some for the Civ channel, or maybe even my channel, if I can get some interest. But I know Duncan's big on Dawn of War, and for sure we'll be able to find other people to play with us, because this game looks like it's going to be really, really, really fun. But that wasn't the only thing going on in Vancouver. While I was in town, there was the Festival of Lights. The Festival of Lights is basically an international fireworks competition, and I managed to see the winner of the event while I was there. That was one of the evenings, and that was a Disney-based presentation, and it was really, really cool to watch, like, just an insane amount of fireworks exploding all in time, kind of synced up perfectly to songs from various Disney movies like Star Wars, Pirates of the Caribbean. But not just that, there was also like the animations. So like there was an Ariel song, Of course, a Frozen song, how could there not be? And it was just really, really cool. And it was the same weekend as the Pride Parade. And the Prime Minister himself, Justin Trudeau, was even there marching down the road in the parade, pushing a pram. Taking part in those festivities was really, really fun. Vancouver really, really comes to life around the Pride Parade. It's pretty well known for it. And it was a bank holiday weekend too, so it was like pretty sweet. All in all though, I really want to thank Relic for inviting me out to see the game. It was amazing, and I can't wait to catch up with the Dawn of War guys at Gamescom, because they are apparently showing off Dawn of War 3 at Gamescom. The mission I played, actually, in fact, is going to be there too. And if any of you guys are going to Gamescom, you can definitely stop by their Relic booth and check out the game. And I do encourage you to do that, because if you're a fan of RTS and you're a fan of Dawn of War and Warhammer like me, then it's definitely worth checking it out and making up your own decision, your own mind, on what you think of the game. And this feels like very much like a fluff piece, and in a way it is. But honestly, the game was so fun that that's exactly fine. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you are going to Gamescom again, make sure you stop by and see me and Duncan, who are going to be there. But also, I think Terps and Lewis are going to be there. A whole bunch of people that I know are going to be there. So that's going to be really cool. I'm looking forward to it. And until next time, guys, hit like and subscribe, especially if you want to see more Dawn of War stuff and or Warhammer. And until next time, guys, take care.